Welcome to Dubs Talk Live. I'm Zena Keita here in the lovely Modelo Cantina with Dalton Johnson. And we join you from Chase Center after we just saw the Golden State Warriors lose 2 in a row and 2 to the Orlando Magic, going 20-20 now on the season. It was a tough one to watch.
Yeah, this Warriors season has been so up and down, and now they're 0-4 against the Magic and the Pistons, something that you would not expect after winning the championship last year. So again, it just kind of paints the whole entire picture of this Warriors season, being at 20-20, beating teams like the Grizzlies on Christmas, and then losing these kind of games. It's just been a kind of a roller coaster up and down season so far.
What's interesting, though, is the home games haven't been a roller coaster. This is where they've actually been able to establish their dominance. And then 2 games, we've seen 2 teams, like you said, that are statistically not supposed to beat the Warriors come in and dominate them.
Exactly. I mean, these last 2 games have obviously had this game with bringing Andrew Wiggins back, bringing Iguodala back, losing Klay Thompson literally right before the game begins. It was just kind of Chase Center went from being excited for the returns of 2 key players to a state of confusion because of Klay.
That was the number one thing that was on everyone's minds. Klay Thompson warmed up like normal. We saw him, we were down on the court. He actually ran out with the team and right before tip went back to the locker room, and we saw nothing of Klay for the first quarter. Everyone was asking, where's Klay, where's Klay? It wasn't until afterwards Warrior press came down, left knee soreness. Klay Thompson has played 34 minutes at least or more in the last of his 5 games. So we know coming off of an Achilles, coming off of an ACL, that's a lot of minutes. And even in his last game, he told our team he's running on E right now. Do you expect him to probably sit down for a few games?
You know, it's going to be so interesting to see what they do after this because we already knew that going into this season, they have to be cautious with Klay Thompson. You talk about a torn ACL, a torn Achilles, just 2 major blows to a Hall of Fame player in the prime of his career. And with the left knee soreness, that is the knee that he injured in the 2019 NBA Finals. So, of course, when you first see that, it's a uh-oh kind of moment, right? After the game, Steve Kerr said it's a precautionary thing, that he felt a little bit of irritation during warm-ups. Some people that I talked to said during warm-ups they could see a little bit of facial expression from Klay as far as kind of being, I'm feeling something. So we've heard precautionary in the past with even an Andrew Wiggins who ended up missing 15 games. Sure. This one, I think it's very much, if it's not 100, 110%, why risk anything, right? Yeah. I think the confusion at first was we don't even see Klay on the bench. He comes back in like the 3rd quarter. He's in street clothes. So that's a good sign to me to at least see him around his teammates. Right. And you have to hope that if you don't get him back for the game Tuesday, that you get him back either at the start.
How did it feel for you and Andre to be back on the court today?
I mean, it felt good, you know, just being out there, being out there battling with my guys, playing basketball, it just felt good.
I think your 15 games is the most games that you've missed consecutively in your career. I mean,
Sure.
was it maybe more challenging to brush off the rust, after missing so much time than you thought?
It was. Just felt a little rusty out there, trying to get my feet right, get back in rhythm. But, I know it's going to take, a little time, just put in a little extra work and I'll be good.
Were there specific plays or specific style of movements out there where you felt like, don't feel like myself?
No, I just felt a little slow. And that's it. Just one step slow.
Reactions and stuff like that?
Yeah.
What was it like sitting out this much time? Because as she said, you've never done this.
It's not fun. It's not fun, because you miss just being out there, playing. You miss, being around the guys. But, most importantly is just, the competitive, part of the game, just being out there battling.
I don't know how much you want to detail it, but, at the end, it sounded like you were basically healed from the adductor and almost about to come back even near Christmas. And then I know you got sick. Just what was that? What happened in the last, couple of weeks?
I got sick. Everyone in my house got sick. Right when I was about to come back, I thought I was going to come back. It was unfortunate, but, it happens. It was just a little setback, but, we're all better now.
We're nearing the midway point, and with you being out, maybe you had a different vantage point of the game than actually playing. Just what have you seen from this team, the way that they responded from the 2 losses in New York to this homestand, and where do you think you guys are at?
Man, I feel like, the team had a lot of growth, in that time. I feel like everyone stepped up, so much, and everyone's playing high-level basketball. They were defending like crazy, playing together, and, even if I wasn't here watching it or if I was at home watching it, it was just, beautiful basketball. It was great to watch.
Hi, Andrew. Is there an approach right now in terms of how long you'll be on a minutes restriction? Is it just sort of based on how your body's feeling, or is there a certain number of games that you've come up with Steve and the staff?
I'm not really too sure. The medical staff will, I feel like when they think I'm ready, for more, I feel like each game will probably just a little bit more until I'm back to normal.
Based on how you tonight, and you said like you were kind of surprised, like it felt different, you were out for so long. Do you have a sense just how long you think it's going to take for you to feel like yourself again?
I don't think it'll take long. I hope I'll be back next game, right? Quick turnaround.
I think you had like 30-something and 8 threes in the last game that you played. How good did your game feel at that point?
Amazing. I felt like I was in a great rhythm. My shot felt like every shot that I shot felt like it was going in. I was just in a great rhythm.
And, you didn't leave that game. And the adductor strain kind of popped up later, it seemed like. Did you think that was just going to be a short absence, or,
I just thought it was tight.
Yeah.
That was it. But it seemed to be a little bit more.
How frustrating was that process, and did you feel like it lingered, I guess, longer than you thought?
Maybe a little bit longer than I thought. I thought it was going to be out maybe a few games. I was like, it's not bad, it's whatever. Then it ended up being a little bit more. So now I'm just, trying to get my rhythm back.
Andrew, I know you guys kind of went through this last year where, somebody got healthy and then somebody else got hurt. What's that like? You and Andre come back, but then Klay's out. But, Steph's coming back this week. So, what's it kind of like going through all these different changes with personnel?
That's what it's like, in the NBA. Injuries is unfortunate, but it's part of the game. And everyone just has to stay ready, because you never know, what could happen or who's going to be out there. We can only control what we can control.
With certain injuries, sometimes players are hesitant to come back, or they're worried about getting re-injured. Do you have any hesitance while you're out there?
No, I don't. I feel like I practice hard, I rehabbed hard, and I trust the medical staff here, and, they think I'm ready. I think I'm ready, so it's like a mutual decision, so I feel good.
So that's Andrew Wiggins talking about his return. Injuries are common in the NBA. Obviously, not only him coming back tonight, but also Andre Iguodala, who we haven't seen in so long. There was a lot of excitement, myself included. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I was pumped about this return. However, I felt it was a little lackluster.
It was rust, Look, Steve Kerr said it. Andrew Wiggins even admitted it, that, I felt a little bit slow, a step or two behind. There was a rust factor there. So I think when you get an Andrew Wiggins back, an Andre Iguodala back, you talk about the excitement, right? That's your first emotion.
Yeah.
But then we got to remember, it takes a little bit to get back in the rhythm of things. I think with Wiggins, it's not going to take too long. He was playing like an all-star again before he went down. At the same time, first game since December 3rd. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
For Andre Iguodala, first game since, playing that final minute of the NBA Finals.
Ooh,
He played 12 minutes.
Put it in perspective, guys.
Yeah.
That's the last time.
Yeah, Andre Iguodala played 12 minutes.
Wow.
It's the most he's played since game 1 of the NBA Finals.
Wow.
So it's been since, that's the beginning of June.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So I think our excitement had to kind of slow down our expectations a little bit and understand it takes a little bit of time for both of these guys.
For sure. Festus Ezeli talked about that coming back. It's not only super exciting to see them on the floor, but the number one thing that they've got to think about is what? The next step. Integration. It was interesting. I was looking at some play-by-play stats of lineups tonight. There were 18 different lineups for the Golden State Warriors, 12 of which had either Andre Andrew or both within it, their average plus minus was on the negative. So obviously they're still trying to work, the coaching staff is still trying to work through what that integration is going to look like, as Festus is mentioning, and what that flow is going to feel like. But knowing that Andre is such a veteran for this team, he's been the one helping these young guys and the young core step up and get their confidence up and make sure they know what they're doing. I feel like it's not going to be that long before he gets himself back into it.
No, I completely agree. I think with Andrew Wiggins, it was not even 2 minutes into the game. First shot of the game is a three-pointer. Drains it, and you're like, okay, this is going to be one of those nights, right? Rest of the night, not as smooth. I think he finished up 4 for 12. You know, not the kind of game you expect from an Andrew Wiggins. Again, it's been over a month. With Iguodala, you know, he comes in a minute and a half later, he gets an assist. It's what he does. He controls the game. He calms everything down, you know. And then I looked at Andre Iguodala, his 2 turnovers. Both seem kind of like a miscommunication, a little bit of a misunderstanding. Where is Jordan Poole supposed to be? That kind of thing. So those are little things you want to kind of notice when someone returns like that is, hey, we're just not on the same page, but we're not rookies. We can get there quickly, right? So the good with the bad, and you hope that, you know, the pages turn pretty quickly. Any kind of problems there, miscommunication-wise, are changed either the next game or the game after. And with those 2 guys, I don't expect it to take that much longer.
No, and like Andre said, January is less important than June.
Oh, yes, 1,000%.
Of course. So we'll be back. We'll talk about somebody who stepped up in the midst of these players coming back on Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid Energy.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Fit Aid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. Fit Aid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fans on Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid on YouTube. Dalton and I just chatting about this game. We just obviously just talked a little bit about Andre and Andrew coming back. Got some rust to knock off. I apologize. Can you guys hear me? I'm just looking through some of the comments here. Someone said Wiggs sounds like he's still a bit sick.
I mean, I don't think that they would have him around the team if he was sick. It was interesting him kind of having 2 separate illnesses. It's tough. Obviously, if something's been going around here, we know that with kind of just the season, literally as far as weather-wise in general, not the Warrior season. The seasons with the change and with winter and everything.
Things outside are a little crazy right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
Yes. Storm again here in San Francisco. God.
But you know, you wouldn't even be able to tell that. The way this building was packed, you would have never known that there's a whole cyclone on its way to the Bay. So I'm looking through more. I am excited, though, regardless of Wiggins not playing the last 15 games. Tons of all-star votes. That's exciting.
I mean, Dub Nation's always in full effect.
All
we know
over
that.
it. All over it. Let me see if I'm seeing anything else. Yes, I cannot wait to see all of them together without the rust. Get them back into the communication and flow of what this championship team is all about.
Yeah, it's a lot of you need your chemistry. You need to be cohesive, and the chemistry I think just had a few kind of, you know, it wasn't fully there. You know, they didn't have their full glue tonight.
Right. Also, I just want to shout out to Catherine Gibson. The staff here at Chase Center is so sweet. They got us some pound cake. Thank you so much. I will definitely be having this next break. All right, we're going to go back on live. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid. We are here talking about a young player, a two-way player, who stepped up to say, particularly in the first half, and absolutely carried the Warriors. Anthony Lamb, 22 points in the first half. Went a little cold in the second, but man, he was on fire in the first.
Yeah, you talk about a game where you don't have Klay Thompson, you don't have Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins' first game back. Who's going to step up? In that first quarter, Anthony Lamb scores 14 points. By halftime, 22 points, as you said. that not only was a season high, it tied his career high.
Right, wow.
But within that, there's a little bit of a problem within this game where he scores 22 points in the first half. The Warriors starters combined for 30 points in the first half. And again, that kind of just said the whole bigger picture of this game where if one person was going to step up, you needed some others to step up, and there just wasn't that kind of full rhythm tonight. No flow, you just didn't have that tonight.
And it definitely wasn't veiled. The second he went cold, it was revealed, oh, okay, this isn't an amazing offense. This is just one player getting hot. And the second that he stopped, you saw them not score the ball in the paint. It was the number one thing that I noticed was that Orlando completely took advantage of the open area in the zone, that paint area, whether they were driving and finishing inside, driving and getting fouled, or driving and kicking. On the other end, the Warriors weren't doing any of that.
I believe the Warriors finished with 3 more rebounds, but you talked about the points in the paint. It's astounding.
Yeah.
And the Magic scored twice as many points in the paint as the Warriors. The Warriors scored 26 points in the paint. The Magic scored 52. Like, that can't be that big of a discrepancy, obviously, right? Where we know that the Warriors are a three-point shooting team, but at the same time, you need to adjust. The Warriors took 58 three-pointers. They made 18. So I believe they finished at 31%, which that's not Warriors standards.
Right.
But when I talk about adjust, just slow the game down a little bit. Try to get in the paint, and have them collapse. That'll make more open shots for three-pointers, but also find ways to get to the free throw line. Simple things like that, right? Where they made the game hard on themselves, where it was like they were playing like you had the Splash Brothers, but you didn't have
You
that.
didn't have them.
You
They
got
weren't on
to
the court,
remember that
guys.
sometimes. So again, the in-game adjustments just weren't there tonight as far as understanding things. So would have loved to see them get to the paint a little bit more.
Yeah.
And again, that 52-26, that is a big, big difference.
And that's the thing, their stats were actually flipped, right? So Orlando shot 55 in the paint, or within the three, and they only shot 32 threes, whereas we shot 58. The Warriors shot 58, and the Warriors had 30 points within the 3-point line. It's not acceptable in being able to look at what they're giving you and then being able to adjust. So definitely very important for that shift. We just mentioned as well, is size a concern? Everyone knows Orlando Magic is a very long, tall, and big team. If you're a guard coming off a designated handoff, coming off a screen, and Paolo Banchero's on the other side, very difficult to make it all the way down to the paint. What do you make of the Warriors' lack of size inside?
Yeah, I mean, this was a team that looked, bigger, faster, stronger, and younger, and fresher, things like that, right? So there definitely was that difference there between the Warriors and the Magic. As far as adding that size, I think it's a little bit of give and take. As far as when it comes to my opinion with that, we've seen the way the Warriors have won in the playoffs when it really matters, as far as going small, things like that. For me, it's more about getting wings around a Steph Curry, and that's where an Anthony Lamb comes into play tonight, where he does have that length. He's not, he's a long player. Right. He's still kind of new to the NBA, but a 4-year college player. He's smart. He will go to the rack if he needs to. Obviously, tonight the three-point shot was on. But as far as needing the size, JaMychal Green, this is somebody who, again, has had a little bit of an up-and-down season when healthy. But, he's been out for a long time. These last 2 games were the first 2 that I've seen him back and walking around in the locker room. Tonight was the first time that I've seen him back on the sidelines, on the bench during the game. So his return should be somewhat soon after first having the COVID issue and then a right leg infection. Yeah. So you will be able to get some size back from him.
That's great.
James Wiseman should be back soon enough. Jonathan Kuminga, tonight, he was not in that walking boot anymore on the bench.
Yes,
so, again, these aren't a bunch of 7-footers outside of Wiseman, but there are bodies within how the Warriors use their size.
They're long and athletic.
You are gonna get help there. I think the question's going to be whether it be the buyout market, trade market, is size a top kind of their to-do list for sure, and there has to be a question mark there. But I don't think they're going to look and say we need a bunch of 7-footers. That's just not the Warriors' style of play.
Sure, and it never has been, and they have really capitalized on that guard play for a very long time. Well, Warriors have lost to 2 teams that are under 15 games or winning this season, but they're coming up against the Phoenix Suns coming up. So let's talk about that when we get back from break on Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by FitAid Clean Energy and Sports Recovery, the energy drink for athletes. FitAid Energy is naturally sweetened with only 15 calories, no sucralose, no aspartame, and no compromises.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm just like typing up notes here. All right, where are we at? We got some. Anthony Lamb has been shooting well. You know, it's interesting. They talk about Steve Kerr said that when he first saw Anthony Lamb, it was he was playing against the Santa Cruz Warriors, and it was because he was lighting up the Warriors that he was like, who's that? We need to figure out who that is. And he came in tonight and was just firing from behind the three.
Yeah, I mean, I think since he's been inserted into the lineup, he's basically been right around 39-40% from three-point range. You know, and that's a big time boost off the bench as a two-way player. Right. You know, and again tonight he added that spark that they needed offensively, especially from behind the three-point line. So I think he's just really trying to look to add to his overall game. Kind of ask him tonight, what's one area that you want to add to kind of contribute to winning for the Warriors? Right. And it had nothing to do with offense. He's talking about, I need to be versatile on defense. And it's obviously what you want to hear from a player, right? That there's a lot of players in the NBA who can come off the bench and be a spark as far as offensively. You know, but defensively, that's a whole different story. So if he can still add 3-4 3-pointers for them in a game, awesome. But then if it can go from guarding a 2, a 3, guarding a 4, you know, a mix of players, a mix of positions, that's going to be big for the Warriors.
And that was the thing that was missing tonight. So the Warriors would go down and score, and then they wouldn't get a stop. And they were exchanging buckets, and then exchanging time in the half courts, and if they weren't scoring on their end, then it became 3-point swings, 5-point swings, because they weren't getting stops. And that's what they really need. They need lockdown defenders. This has been a theme amongst the NBA. Is the offense just that much better? Or are people just not that good defensively anymore?
I think it's a mix of a few things when you talk about just how skilled players are now.
That's true.
It's amazing to see and how skilled they are from such a young age as far as that being such a focus now. But also, you're talking about rules. You're talking about point of emphasis with offense compared to defense, where you're going to get some big-time scoring nights. Right. But tonight, I mean, the Warriors even went to zone a few times, and the Magic were able to just penetrate way too easily and find open guys from beyond the arc or an easy, points in the paint, things like that. It was just too easy for the Magic tonight.
Right. Yeah, I really hope that going into this game with Phoenix, there is that sense of urgency that we didn't see tonight. I do hope that they want to do this not only for Steph, for Klay, everyone involved, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, we're going back on. See you in a bit. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, presented by FitAid. Warriors have dropped 2 at home. They're now 5-2 in this homestand, and they've got one more game before they go back on the road. Phoenix is coming in on January 10th. That's a big game. If they win, they would climb the standings. But what else would that mean for the Warriors to be able to beat the Phoenix Suns?
Well, it's big for a lot of reasons. Number one, this Warriors team always has a little bit of animosity when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. We know that. So there's going to be the tensions are always kind of rising between these two teams. It's also a different Phoenix Suns team, one that's without Devin Booker.
That's right.
This is now Devin Booker's Phoenix Suns team. And without him, they've been having a hard time, obviously, right? So the Warriors have to be able to take advantage of that because they went from a 5-0 homestand to 5-2. You finish at 5-3. You go from having a great homestand to good, and especially with the issues they've had on the road. Take advantage of this. The start of the road trip, you're talking about teams like the Spurs, the Bulls, the Washington Wizards. Before then, you go to a back-to-back with the Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. So get this win, finish out a 6-2 homestand, which sounds very good, and then take advantage of those easier games on paper to start the road trip.
Nothing's easy in the NBA, right? On any other given day, it's just anyone can take that loss. But I really want to home in on being able to go back on the road with a win, right? This has been a theme within the Warriors, talking about confidence and being able to play with confidence and being able to have confidence in each other and trust each other. How big would that be for the confidence of the resiliency of this team to be able to get that win as well?
Well, I mean, tonight you get Andrew Wiggins back. You get
Yeah.
Andre Iguodala back. The expectation is that Steph Curry will be back in San Antonio
Right.
for that first game. So you start to see things building together, right? And you have to be able to be, number one, just excited about that, but no, hey, let's build some momentum here.
Yeah.
Let's carry this over to the road. We know what our road record is. We don't even need to say it on TV. It's not good.
It's not great.
So, yes,
It's not great.
let's build that momentum, carry it over. I think that that's the message right now within the Warriors locker room. Finish strong at home, build off of that to have a good start on the road.
Agreed. So Warriors falling to 20-20 for the season right now. They're going to play the Phoenix Suns on January 10th. We'll be back here at Chase Center. Dalton, thank you so much for joining me and chatting it up about the Warriors. Hopefully we'll get a win next game. I want to also make a mention of tonight was Educators Night here at the Warriors, and we also had one of the coaches Make-A-Wish Foundation with Braxton. So big shout out to Braxton, who was a wonderful coach alongside Steve Kerr. You got to see him meet up with Steph Curry before the game, right?
Oh, yeah, favorite player, Steph Curry, said before the game, got to shake Paolo Banchero's hand. So another great moment by the Warriors. We know that the final score wasn't what they wanted, but the Warriors do an amazing job as far as their community outreach, and tonight was just another example of that. So looking for a win to finish off this homestand, go on the road strong. Overall, not what they wanted on the scoreboard, but the bigger picture, another win for the Warriors in that regard.
In that regard, for sure. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been Dubs Talk Live, presented by Fit Aid. I'm Zena Keita, Dalton Johnson. Have a wonderful night.